Time to build the epic home studio. Let's do this. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So, this is going to be the new space for the new home studio, the new epic home studio. It is a 29 by 9 foot with 8 foot ceiling this side and just above a 7 foot ceiling the other side. So we've got a slanted roof to deal with, which should be interesting during the build. Alright then, so the room I'm going to build inside this room is going to be 22 foot long by 8 foot wide after all the installation. Obviously we're going to do a suspended ceiling and we're going to do a raised floor as well. The room's got two quite big windows. They are just over 4 foot wide by just over 3 foot high, and obviously we've got a door as well to come in and out of. So once the room is built, there is a second plan as well to fit a booth in the bottom corner. Now that booth is going to be big enough to have a drum kit in it, so I can mic up a full drum kit and be able to play a drum kit with more deadening in the room, so which hopefully it won't be heard outside. Obviously that room could be used for recording guitar amps, vocals, anything else as well, but the plan is to fit a booth down the bottom. The idea is maybe a 6 by 6 foot square booth with a door on an angle. We'll get into that in more detail later on. Okay, so I've made up this scale drawing of the building outside. The outside line is the current building as it is at the minute, and the inside line will be the 6 inches of insulation all the way around. As you can see at this end here, this is the front end where we're going to be building a partition wall, and then the remaining of the garage will become like a workshop area. So as you can see, we got the 2 windows, one down the far end, one at the close end, and we've got the door where that's situated as well. So we'll be building a room inside of a room, as I said earlier, and I'll be doubling up on the windows and the door to create a soundproof seal on that side. Okay, so I've got the drum booth here, like I mentioned earlier. Now, my plan is to recess it back in this corner. I've been in 2 minds whether or not, now this might change when I come to building it, but I've got 2 minds. One is to have it so 2 of the walls are the outside of the building as normal, and then I'll just build 2 partition walls on the inside to create the booth. The other idea I had was to build the box within the room like so. However, then I'll be losing an extra 6 inches all the way around, so, well, on 2 sides, which means the door I want to put is going to be around here, and that'll just, I think that'll cause havoc because I'll have an internal door here and that one will open, so it won't be ideal, and I think that'll just cause issues. So my plan is, if I then recess it in the back, it'll still be soundproof enough for what I want to use it for. The desk at the far end here, this is roughly the idea I'm thinking about doing it. The S is here, the speaker stands. The speaker stands are triangle at the base, so that's the only floor print I need to really worry about at this time. Speaker placement, obviously, this is just a rough guide. When I come to putting them in, then I will then decide where they're going to go best off. Obviously, I don't want to butt this right up against the wall because I want to utilize the space, and I want to find the best listening position for mixing. And I've also got a subwoofer that's going to go either under the table, or I'm going to find the best place to put it acoustically for the room. As you can see, got the electronic drum kit here up against this wall. This is just a rough idea at the minute of where to put it. Ideally, because I use electric kit for my live streams, I'd like to keep it in the same room as the computer, so I can then run my stream as normal and just have the kit there ready to go, and I'll have cameras mounted up where I need them. I just want to make that a really straightforward process of just go out again, hit go live, and switch things on where I need to switch them on, and I'm ready to go. I don't want to have to set up and pack down any rig for streaming. I just want to make it as streamlined as easy as possible. So the sofa here, I've got the measurements for a standard small 2-seater sofa. I don't want anything too big, but I do want something that when I have my band round or friends over to record,
they've got somewhere to sit. We've got somewhere comfy that we can also then slide across, maybe into a listening position in the room, and obviously I can just be in the chair there to work the desk and the mix. Like I said, this is going to be on wheels probably. However, the electric kit needs to find a home, either set up there, or I may rejig the room and have it set up somewhere else. I did think about having the sofa up against that wall there, but then that will clash with the door unless I move the door around the corner. I've also toyed with having the desk facing the window and having speakers like so. This would work. However, I feel that obviously the sofa will be that'll be too packed in, and it wouldn't be comfy. I'd have a load of dead space here, which wouldn't be ideal. So I'd rather work on the lengthways at this point to get a good listening position. Because as much as the room is slightly longer, it's not a high roof, so I'm not going to have massive acoustic issues to deal with. The other idea though was to either put the kit down here in the corner, but that's too far away from the computer for the stream, so that's a bad idea. So yeah, at the minute it's all ideas, it's all floating at the minute, but that's the gist of the layout so far. So another item that will be in the room at some point is I'm going to be making an isolation cab for recording guitar amps. I've already got a box that I've made for another project, which unfortunately now isn't going to go ahead. So I'm going to utilize the box and make it into an isolation cab. It's roughly a 2 by 2 foot box. However, it's slightly taller than it is width. So once I get the measurements, I'll know for sure. However, the initial idea is to stick it up here by the desk in this space here that would be kind of unusable for anything else. Ideally, I'd like to then have it there and then maybe have a rack next to it for guitar amps, or I may be putting the guitar amps on a rack on top of the box to save space if there's not enough space. Obviously, I'll put like a rubber mat down to reduce any vibrations going up through to the amps. The second idea for the placement of the box would be down in this bottom corner, where this is a bit of a dead man's space really. There's nothing planned to go in over there, so I could put it over there out the way. However, I'm in two minds about the amount of cable I run from the amps to the box, as I don't want to pick up too much background noise through the cable around the room. The third option is to put it here under the window, which would utilize that space, and I could also use it as a top for maybe a keyboard or something like that. However, it all depends on once we get the desk in place and I know what's going to work best. But ideally, I would like it over here, tucked up out the way, out of sight, out of mind, because once it's in and plugged in, I wouldn't need to get in it very often to make any changes.
First things first, I gotta get this bench out. It's pretty sturdy, and it is pretty sturdy. Let's see what happens. Aye. Seems it's been held down by blue tack. Interesting. Alright then, that's the bench out. Obviously got to clean up. I think I might leave those studs in the wall there, and I can use them to put the insulation up against and use them as part of the stud pattern wall behind. There's no point tearing them out, it'll ruin the masonry, so I'm better off just leaving them in position. Obviously that light and that socket's going to move as well, and I'm going to run power to the workshop area down the other end, and then we'll have completely different power down this end. Right, now clean up. Fun. Alright then, so that's the workbench ripped out and moved. We're going to utilise part of the bench, the biggest part basically, to make a new workbench in the new workshop space. So I've utilised some of that. The framework is still in one piece, just got to make the fixings to go against the wall. Right, so that's that bit done for today. Don't forget, if you want to follow along and as we build this epic home studio space, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, follow along and follow on the socials as well. Right, until next one, take it easy, cheers and gone.